Hello, this is Geometry, topic 7-4 on the application of right triangles. So we've reviewed Pythagorean theorem, we've talked a little bit about some right triangles. Now we're going to actually put this into practice with word problems. So whenever we do a word problem, we're going to draw the picture and mark it accordingly. So it says Susie heads due north from her house to the grocery store to buy some bread. It's 2 miles away. The shoe store is 3 miles due east. She wants to go directly from the grocery store to the shoe store. How far would she have to go? So we've got a right triangle here. And I'm trying to figure out my hypotenuse. So 2 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 4 plus 9 equals c squared. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 equals c squared. We do the square root. And so because we want an actual distance that we'll know, we're going to go ahead and put this into our calculator. The square root of 13 is about 3.6. So about 3.6 miles. And it's that simple. Let's go and take a look at example number 2. Now, example number 2, we have a 12-foot ladder placed against a wall. So we've got our house, and we've got our ladder, and the ladder is 12 foot tall. Okay, and we know that it is 4 feet from the wall. So we want to know how high up does it reach? Well, that's my right angle, and so I'm given my hypotenuse is 12. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know that this is 12. We know that one of these is 4. And so now we have that a squared plus 16 equals, well, 12 squared is 144. If we subtract 16 from both sides, we get that a squared equals 128. We want to take the square root of 128, and it gives us about 11.3 feet. So it's real simple. It's just set up Pythagorean theorem and solve. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 3. A telephone pole broke 4 foot from the bottom. If the top of the pole lands 3 feet away, we want to know how tall the whole pole was. So let's take a look. Our right angle, this is C. So 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 16 plus 9 equals c squared. That would be 25 equals c squared. And the square root of 25 should be one that you note off the top of your head. So 5 equals c. So this part of our pole is 5 feet. But it doesn't want just how much broke off. It wants to know how tall was the pole originally. That's before it broke. So 5 plus 4 makes a 9-foot tall pole. It's 4 foot, and then the part that broke off was 5, and so the whole thing comes out to be 9. Again, when you're solving these problems, make sure that you read what it's asking for, and so you give the correct interpretation. go and talk about example number 4. Here, Stephen is tying a tent down so it's not going to blow away. So we've got our tent. Okay. He attaches a rope to the top of the tent at a stake in the ground. We know the tent is 5 foot tall, and he used a 12-foot rope. And we know how far away should you place a stake. So from the center of the tent out to the stake, we want to know how far that is. Well, 5 squared plus x squared is 12 squared because my hypotenuse is the 12 foot. So 25 plus x squared equals 144. Subtract 24. X squared is 119. And the square root of 119 is about 10.9 feet. And we double check how far away should you place the stake so the rope is long enough. We covered this. It's about 10.9 feet. Last example. These notes are going by really quickly. You may want to go ahead and pause and try to work this one out on your own because word problems, once I put them in the equations for you, it makes it really simple. So you may want to go ahead and pause, attempt to solve this one, and then come back and check your answer. So this Jerry wants to plant trees along the diagonal of his rectangular backyard. So he's going to plant trees along the diagonal. Now his backyard is 35 by 20 feet. He wants to plant a tree every 3 feet. How many trees is he going to need? Well, first off, let's figure out what this is. Well, that's my hypotenuse. So 20 squared plus 35 squared equals x squared. 400 plus 35 squared is 1225 equals x squared. Add the 400, we have 1625 is x squared. The square root is about 40.3 feet. So that's how long this is. It's just over 40 feet long. But he wants to plant a tree every 3 feet, so he's not planting 40 trees. We need to take the 40.3, divide by 3, and see what we need to do. So we take and we'll divide that by 3, and we get about 13.4. Now, I can't plant 0.4 of a tree. So, what I'm going to need is I'm going to just go ahead and say that he needs to plant 13 trees. And 13 trees, he'll have a little bit of wiggle room. It won't be exactly 3 feet, but he'll have a little bit of wiggle room on either end. And he'll be able to fit 13 trees in there. He won't be able to fit 14 trees. So, these were the examples. It was only 5 examples, really quick and easy. Next section of notes. The hardest part about this is figuring out how to set up your word problems. Begin by drawing pictures. Well, hope you have a good afternoon, and good luck on your assignment.